Earl Sweatshirt, The Alchemist, and 3 new songs. That's right, members of the Grust Co. Advisory Ranking Panel of Ranks and Reviews, Subdivision Qualch, run by the illustrious G. Grustington, has decided to release a new review of Goo. That's right, an evaluation of the 3 new tracks from the updated release of VOIR, the collaborative project from Earl Sweatshirt and The Alchemist. This long-awaited combination was released with vigor and tenacity a little more than a month ago, so feel free to check my past review for the full album detail. But today we're going to discuss the new changes to VOIR as it finally reaches all streaming services and platforms, Grizbit style. Salutations, I'm G. Grustington, and I'll be your guide this evening through the murky swamp of quaaludes and angel dust we know as music. Earl and Uncle Al link up again for 3 bonus tracks to add to the VOIR catalog, enlisting the help of the Ramona Park Purist with a Vince Staples appearance on 2 of the songs. So in my original review, I started with the last track that holds some of my favorite bars of the whole album right at the front. So this time I'm gonna jump right into the middle with Mancala, as Earl continues to crush the imperialist mindset with standout lines like "foot on a colonizer neck like a collar," as this gospel-tinged piano leads another smooth and soulful Alchemist production. This song overall hits that comfort food area of family gatherings and reminiscing that bleeds through VOIR as a whole. So it's nice to see those themes continued in the bonus tracks. Being the first of 2 Vince Staples featuring tracks, the duo sound as connected as ever, with Vince musing on his own struggles with faith, showing love to his brothers even if they, like Chris Bosh, can't shoot. The dueling poles of resonance for me on this song though are the tracks that reference the title, with Earl dropping gems like Mancala, as Vince revives the idea later on in his verse, sliding like an abacus. Growing up, my parents had a splattering of weird items around the house connecting to our ethnic roots. So the imagery of a Mancala game set and using an abacus just kind of really brings me back to childhood. Of course, these 2 things are pretty opposite in purpose, Mancala being like a game with moving stones and capturing pieces or whatever, and an abacus being like a pre-tech calculator. They both still have this emblematic presence of like an ancient era, the creations and celebrations of people of color. It's like nostalgia, ultra. Moving on to Heat Check, the first new addition by track listing, and the only solo addition by Earl and Alchemist. It fits perfectly in with some of my favorites from the original album release. The Alchemist production is very bright here, feeling more weightless than some of the cloudy, sludged haze found elsewhere on the album, almost giving the vibe of an obscure 80s dating game show menu music, a la Tim and Eric sketch.
My online alter ego is 18 feet tall and has giant wings like an angel's but also like a demon's. His name is Carlor.
Lyrically, it's all out on the table from the jump, with Earl thinking back to his hard drug days and how he really ain't about that life anymore. Food bars reach a new high as he reminds you to stay out his square like a Sicilian slice, right into the power spreading like Jiffy, and then ending with dessert, a nice bite of Snickers. Taking shots at Tekashi 6ix9ine is always fun, but I really love how he actually flips that into a self-deprecating brag on his authenticity. You can call it coincidental timing, but perhaps my favorite part of this song is the reptilian album art and bars of slithering to connect with the new release of crazy poison snake lady Aki in Street Fighter 6.
I caught her with a sidewinder, slithering in a vine.
And you're right, Earl. Summer's over, so it's gonna be a little tough to keep the fingers warm as we bleed into the cold of winter. It's hard to play games when your fingers are cold. Lastly, we finish with the final new track, another connection with Earl, Vince, and Alk all on the table. There's a great twinkle to the instrumental as the BPM feels dipped in that aforementioned sludgy haze, while Earl and Vince sound more seamless than ever, passing off verses and remarks back and forth as the album draws to its end. One of the more somber songs on a somber album, Imagery of gang warfare and malaise over common day bloodshed pervades the whole song. Of course, I love me some animal bars, and the quick flip of eagles on attack, talons full of snacks just flows so effortlessly. Can't forget a shout out to a Mad Villain classic as well, but ultimately this ends up my least favorite of the new tracks, a bit slower on the roll than others, although still a pretty great song overall. And it definitely does satiate a bit of some of my previous gripes of the album, wanting to see a bit more of a different introspective style and a new perspective thrown in from Vince Staples. All in all, I think these 3 new tracks are a great addition to the VOIR lineup, especially to give it a little more newness with its release on all streaming services and platforms. However, it's hard for me to consider this a total plus, because they took out 3 songs from the album to add these 3 in. Heat Check replacing All the Small Things, Mancala over My Brother the Wind, and Jeb being taken over by the Caliphate. It's a bit of a predicament for me because All the Small Things and My Brother the Wind were definitely a Duster's Diamond double segment from the first album. Of course, I'd prefer a full 14-track album with everything, but whichever of the 3 song listings you get, still pretty great either way. Out of the 6 interchangeable songs though, I'd say my top 3 in order would be All the Small Things, Mancala, and then Heat Check, with My Brother the Wind as a close 4th. So, take that for what you will. Either way, more new Earl verses, more Alchemist production, and more appearances from Vince Staples is all grummy in my book. So the new VOIR edition definitely gets the Gruster seal of approval. And that covers our Grustacular analysis of More Deer, the new additions to VOIR. We're still recovering from a Grustco server hack earlier this year by renowned wrestler and PCP enthusiast Dental Dam Daniels. So apologies for the lack of uploads the last month, but the goo is stronger than ever, and we've got a lot new on the horizon that our Grustco.
Well, hey there, moo train goes. Did you think I was dead? Did you think I'd get tossed in the trash like an old greasy dental dam? Ha! Hoo! Huzzah! This is a lie, and Dental Dam Daniels now has a few choice words for you, Mr. Goo. Oh,
hello, humans of Earth. I, Daniel K. Rossingworth, have turned a new leaf and am now the spokesperson and Romanian ambassador for Grustco. So let's take a look at the upcoming year-end forecast. In part due to your requests from you, the viewer, we've got more Gruster's album reviews on the way, especially with Aesop Rock releasing a project next month. Keep tuned for 2 all-new shorts series you can find on the shorts section of YouTube or TikTok, or even the Grustco mini companion app, Lil Grizbits. And you can bet your gosh darn rear end that Nasby 2 and WarioWare Move It will get some Gruster's gaming installments after their release next month. Will the fabled Talosophy video finally come into existence as well? Or perhaps Untitled Jengus Files Halloween Project? Well, you'll just have to stick with the goo and find out. Until next time, keep it true, keep it goo.
but you don't have to say it. Just believe it. You don't gotta grust it. Ooh, just believe it. You ain't gotta grust it. Ooh, no, baby. You ain't gotta grust it. Just believe, just. Help? Don't believe. What the fuck is this? Where am I? What, is this a saw trap? You can't saw trap me. I'm Dental Dam Daniels.
Hello, Daniels. I would like to play a game.
Hold up a sec. My name is not Daniels. It's Dental Dam Daniels. This implies Daniels is my last name, not my first.
But in the Grustco 4 preview, they said your name was Daniel Rossingworth.
The fuck do you think Grustco knows? They don't know shit. You think Grustco checks their sources? You really think they check their sources?
I thought they were kind of reputable.
Ever hear of the wrestler Chris Jericho? doing the walls of Jericho. It's not called the walls of Chris, huh?
So what is your first name?
Well, that's pretty fucking simple. It's our...
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.